Hi guys, we're here to tackle example 4. Let's do it. Again, we're trying to show if these two triangles right here are congruent by either SSS or SAS. So I don't know. Let's see. So again, we list the things that are already marked congruent in our picture, which if you see, I have 3 things already marked in my picture. So maybe that's enough, maybe it's not. I have this 4th one here just in case these 3 items are not enough information. So let's just see. I don't know. I thought that I might need a 4th one just in case. So we'll see. I just have a good feeling. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so let's see what's already marked and already given to me in my picture as congruent. Well, I currently see that CA and TS have 2 tick marks, which means they are congruent. So CA is congruent to TS, and it was already marked in my picture, so this is because the given. And sorry guys, I did not see that was in the way, so I'm going to just box around. This was because the given. This is from the previous example, so just don't copy that part. That was in example 3. We already did that. That's when I was sad, but I'm hopeful we're going to find congruent triangles this time, so I don't want to be sad anymore. So I'm going to cover up the sad face because it's bothering me because I don't want to be sad anymore. Okay, so it's given to me that CA is congruent to TS. What else is given to me? I also know that AT and CS have 3 tick marks, which means they are also congruent. So A to the T is congruent to C to the S. And it was given to me in my picture. So it's also because it was given to me. All right, and do we spot anything else in our picture that is marked as congruent? Well, technically, these 2 angles, they have a marking, but those are not congruence markings. So you got to watch yourself. Those right there are little boxes, which means they are right angles. And what is the measure of a right angle? It is 90 degrees. So these 2 angles, you guys, are 90 degrees, which is 90 degrees congruent to 90 degrees? Yes, it is. So the reason why I can say that this angle is congruent to this one is because all right angles are congruent. There's not really like a theorem or definition or postulate. There's not like a special name for it. But we're just going to say it's because all right angles are congruent. So just be careful. If you see right angles, that is not a congruent mark. That is a right angle. But because both of these are right angles, that means that they are congruent. So it's kind of like an undercover congruent symbol, but not quite. Okay, so I'm going to say angle. Now I'm going to have to name 3 letters because there's more than one angle at angle C. So angle A to the C to the T, ACT, is congruent to angle CTS because all right angles are congruent. Again, there's not like a short and sweet name for this one. If you see more than one right angle, we just know they're congruent because all right angles are 90 degrees, which means they're congruent. So the postulate is just called all right angles are congruent. There's not like a special name. That's just what it is. Okay, so I currently have 3 things. So I don't know. Let's see if that is enough to show that these 2 are congruent. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, so I'm going to go around each triangle and see what I find out. Again, you start from an outermost item. So I could start here or here. I'm going to start here. Why not? So I spot a side that's congruent. I don't have an angle, but that's okay because it's only one thing. Then the next thing I see is a side. Then the next thing I see that is technically congruent is an angle. Do you guys see? It spells a bad word. We're not using the SSA postulate. So as of right now, it says SSA, which is not good. And is not enough information to prove my triangle is congruent. Same with this one. If I start from an outermost thing and go around my triangle, I see a side, then a side, then an angle. Oh no, this is on the DL SSA, which is not good because that's when we get fire-breathing demon cats. So watch it because the demon cats are vicious. Okay, so I don't want fire-breathing demon cats. I know in this previous one, we couldn't do anything else. Like, I didn't have any more tricks up my sleeves. I didn't have vertical angles. I did not have a third angle I could mark in using the third angle theorem. And I did not have a reflexive or shared side. So there was nothing else I could mark in my picture to help out these two triangles that we did not know that were congruent or not. Okay? But this one, I'm feeling better about this one. Do you guys see any of those tricks up our sleeves that would allow me to mark in an additional congruent side or angle? Oh man, do you guys see the shared side right here? Segment AT is in the top triangle and the bottom triangle. Whoa, right? So I can say AT is congruent to AT because it's a shared side. And because I have something congruent to itself, we are currently using the reflexive property. Whoa, reflexive property. So now, let's see if there's a way to show that these two triangles are congruent. And looking at it, there's actually two ways, which is pretty cool. We went from having a postulate that doesn't work in fire-breathing demon cats to having two postulates that work, which is pretty cool. Okay, so again, if I trace around my picture, I'll use a different one. I see a side, then I see a side, and I see a side. Do you guys see the side, side, side? Now I know there's things along the way that I could have marked in, but I have three sides congruent in the top one, and I also have three congruent sides in the bottom one. So the two triangles are congruent. One of the ways is by SSS, which is pretty cool. So one way, they're congruent by SSS. And then if we look here, if I go around my triangle again, I see a side, and an angle. That's a bad one. But then I also see a side. So I see a side, an angle, and a side. So there's also like an angle kind of in the mix. And do you guys see here there's a side, and then an angle, then a side? I have two congruent sides with an angle in between them. Okay, same with this one. I have a side, then an angle, then a side. So I also have another side, angle, side. So also the two triangles are congruent by SAS, which is pretty exciting. So since I have three corresponding sides, they're congruent by SSS. Three corresponding congruent sides. And since I have two congruent corresponding sides with an angle in between them that's also congruent, they're also congruent by side, angle, side, which is really cool. So these two triangles are congruent by SSS and SAS, which I was going to write it in here, but there's kind of a lot going on, so I'm not. Okay, last step is to write our triangle congruency statement. So let's get going. Okay, again, it doesn't matter how I name the top triangle. Looking at the top triangle, I think I want to name it triangle CAT. That looks like a good name. What do you guys think? CAT? Triangle cat. How sweet. Okay, when I named this one, I'm going to go after a side tick marks because I don't really have that many angles marked congruent. So if I go from C, sorry, now it's confusing because there's all these layers. The letters of the triangles, the vertex points are in pink, so just keep that in mind. So if I go from C to A to T, I go from 2 tick marks, so C to A, 2 tick marks, to 3 tick marks to 1. So 2 to 3 to 1. 2, 3, 1. So I want to make sure I go 2, 3, 1 in my second triangle. So CAT, 2 to 3 to 1. So I see a 2, I see a 3, so I think I need to head this way. If I see 2 here and then 3 here, I probably need to go this way. So I'm going to go TSC, let's see, 2, 3, 1. 2, 3, 1, that's what I want. So there we go. So this is going to be triangle T to S to C. Oh man, you guys, we recovered. We went from having 0 triangles congruent in example 3 to having both of these triangles congruent in 2 different ways in this one. I think that makes up for the fact that we didn't have any congruent triangles in the last one. So guess what, you guys? Example 4 is donezo. Bam.